Hello, and thank you for being willing to take care of Scout. This is the episode where I show you how to play fetch with him. It seems obvious, but there are a few commands involved. So Scout knows 4 important commands, maybe 5, for fetch. They are mostly involved once he actually has the ball. So I'm going to throw the ball in order to demonstrate. But the very first one is bring it here. So you throw it. And then once he has the ball, you'll say bring it here and you hold out your hand. Scout! Actually, this is a great time to mention if he has to go pee or poo, he will stop trying to bring the ball back to you and he'll find a spot to go and pee and poo. He does know the commands go pee and go poo. He generally pees on command. He does not always poo on command. But the leash should have always some bags attached if he does go poo. Scout, bring it here. Yes. So the object of bring it here is he brings the ball to your hand. If he does not bring the ball to your hand, do not pick it up. Just wait and either wait for him to realize you're waiting for him to bring it to your hand or repeat the command. But try not to repeat commands as much as possible. The more you repeat a command, the more your dog learns to ignore you. So once you have the ball, you should try to throw it as quickly as possible back. I'm obviously not doing that right now, so I'm gonna fix that. Another key command for fetch is closer. So he's bringing the ball back. He's probably going to drop it. Now you see I can't reach that ball. Sometimes he'll bring it closer without you saying anything, but if you say closer, he brings it closer. Something else to keep in mind is that he knows drop it. Drop it is very useful in situations where there are other dogs around that look like they're harassing him. He does not handle it well when other dogs get in his face. If there are other dogs present, that's perfectly fine. If they're trying to play with him, that's still fine. But if the other dog is overly exuberant and trying to lick Scout's face or bite Scout's face, or if they try to bite his body too much, Scout will retaliate and he will initiate a dog fight. So just if you notice other dogs behaving that way towards Scout, a really great way to get Scout out of that situation is to get the ball as quickly as possible. And so because sometimes the dogs are chasing Scout because he has the ball and nipping at his face because he has a ball. These are generally in dog park situations. So in those cases, just tell him to drop it and let the other dog get the ball. Eventually, the other dog is most likely going to get bored with the ball. And then when they drop it, Scout will either go and pick it up or you can go and pick it up. But he's usually very good with drop it as long as you've already built a relationship with him where he knows that you will reward his behavior. So I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate really quickly. Scout, touch. Good boy. Here you go. All right. Drop it. Good boy. When you're out and about with him, there are going to be situations where he will sniff at something or try to pick something up that he shouldn't. He does know leave it, and I would implement that. If you have to use leave it a lot, it might be good to have a toy handy so that you can toss it to him as soon as he looks away as a reward for leaving whatever it is you don't want him to be interacting with. So this also applies to some ball throwing games. You can do this for fetch. So Scout, touch, down. All right, now Scout, leave it. Take it. Balls are a little difficult for Scout because he is super motivated by them. But you did see that he, for the most part, tried to not go near the ball. A great way to reinforce behavior with Scout is with fetch. So if you're looking to train him and this is like the time that you have to engage with him, then that would be when I would take advantage of training. So if you tell him certain commands and he does them, you throw the ball immediately, and that the ball throwing is the reward. So, Scout touch. Yes. Scout, bring it here. Yes. Scout outdoors in dog parks is water when he needs to go get water and puppies. Scout does not get along with puppies unless they're like much older adolescents. He will basically ignore them until they try to come at him, unless it's at a water drinking situation. So if at all possible, try to ensure situations where Scout is drinking out of a water bowl by himself to avoid any confrontations. So let's say that you're in a situation where you're done playing fetch and now you need to go get Scout. There are a few different ways that you can do this. He knows a few different commands. Once you've built up a relationship with him where he's listening to you, which should happen after a few goes where you've demonstrated that you'll reward his good behavior. So one is the down stay. So down comes with a hand gesture of pointing down, and stay comes with a hand gesture of like a high five. And so I'm going to demonstrate that really quickly. When you've got a stay, make sure you can walk up with or without a leash. This is something that's good to practice actually, so that he knows that just because you're wearing a leash does not mean that playtime is over. This is a great thing to practice during fetch so that you gain trust with him. So I'm going to get my leash to demonstrate. So I've got my leash around my neck, and I'm going to ask Scout, come on. All right, Scout, lie down, stay. Yes. So hopefully you could see that. I'm not sure actually if you could. I'll do it again so that you for sure see it. Good boy. Down. Stay. Yes. Right here. Yes. Another one to consistently practice with him is touch. Touch is where he will you hold out 2 fingers and he should press his nose to your fingers. So Scout, touch. Good boy. Touch will bring him directly up to you. Depending on the commands that you choose to use right after using touch, you can manipulate the situation to get a hold of him. You can, for example, use touch, down, stay in a combo, and that way you don't have to walk out to wherever he is. Good boy, drop it. Another third command, which is a lot less reliable, but might work out for you, is to put your right leg back and put your hand down and ask him to come here. The command is here. So Scout, here. Yes. All three of those are things you should work on with him during fetch, so that if a situation comes up where you really need to get a hold of him quickly, he knows that listening to you is always a good idea. If you only use those commands at a time when you really are going to leave or put the leash on him, he will stop trusting you, and he will begin to ignore you when you use those commands. If you notice that Scout, his tongue gets really wide at the bottom, that means that he is hot and thirsty. Drop it. Good boy. If you notice that because what happens when he gets tired is he'll take the ball and he'll lie down very far away from you. Because if you have the ball and you throw it, he is going to go after it. But if he has the ball, then he feels like he can relax. Scout. If he begins to lie down a bunch during your throws, it's definitely time to wrap up because he's had enough. Closer. Oh. So this is a great time. His tongue is definitely wide right now. Let me see if I can get that to show at the bottom. So that means he's basically about done playing fetch. I've only been recording for about 13 minutes, which should really show you that playing fetch with him does not really take a long time. If you want to prolong the amount of time that you are playing fetch with him, it is possible to do that. But I would stop using the ball thrower and I would just do hand catch in short bursts. And so that looks like this. Good boy, right here. Okay, and so he just walked away from me and then laid down, which is a really great indicator that he's just done. So when he does that, if you walk up to him, there's a likelihood that he'll try to grab the ball and walk away again. So you'll have to look at him and tell him to stay, so that he doesn't do that and move away. So Scout, stay. Stay. Hey, hey, hey. Good boy. Once you have him on a leash, you should always try to give him the ball. He really likes just holding on to the ball at the end of a session of fetch.